How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, thank you for calling me an expert in digital marketing. Nobody calls me that, but thank you so much.
What is your story?
So my story is I was born by accident. No, just kidding. Ever since my young age, I was always interested in tech. That is something that has always had my interest. But I'm also very in tune with food and how we grow food, and I'm very mindful of how we grow food. So that is how I started into digital marketing, and I'm fat because, of course, I like food, as I said. So I started digital marketing when it was hardly a term, right? People didn't even recognize it as a whole different role. That's when I started it. And then along the way, I wanted to be a rebel. So my parents told me not to talk to strangers. So I was like, okay, let me go against it and start a podcast so that I talk to strangers all day long. And that's my life. That's my story.
Oh, okay. I'm still trying to process that. How is your relationship with your family, with your parents?
Yeah, I lost my father when I was like, I would say 14 years old. But yeah, my relation with my mother is good because in India, I still live with my parents. I'm not going to let them live alone as an elder person. So yeah, my relation with my mother is pretty good. I would say it's more of a friendly relation than different level of relation. So it's more of same to same friendship kind of thing where I can talk to her about anything in the world. You name it, rap, artists, scandals, and everything. So yeah, I would say it's pretty healthy.
That's very kind of you to take care of your mother. What your digital story look like?
So my digital story looks like I started as a script writer, right? Like where I used to write scripts and blogs and everything. So it was more of a content writer. But I soon realized that's not what I want to do, right? Because it's not healthy for a long period of time. So I was like, okay, let's switch gears. And I looked into web development where I did a lot of no code website development. And then by absolute sheer luck, I landed a job in an agency where I was fortunate enough to work with celebrities, politicians, all the most of the kind of people, I would say. Yeah. And then that was too hectic. So I left it and now I do smaller things here and there in digital. But I still do have, I would say, full touch with digital marketing because I'm doing it on daily basis. But it's just not for the corrupt people anymore.
Oh, what would be your advice for someone that would want to start his journey in digital marketing?
Well, if they want to do it, make sure your heart is in tech because if you hate tech,
Mhm.
digital is not a space for you to thrive. You would probably suck at it. The only reason digital marketing is so easy to learn, right? All these digital marketers online make it seem like it's becoming a doctor. It's not. Most of the things I learned was on my own. So my suggestion would be start doing it. But before even trying to do it, make sure your heart is in tech. Like tech is something that's very natural to you, right? Like I can give you any UI, you are like in 2 minutes you could figure out, okay, what does this UI do? So that sort of natural instinct. If you have that, I would say digital is the best thing for you because there is no quote unquote expert in digital marketing. Right? There may be specialists, but there is no expert because nobody knows what Zuckerberg is going to do tomorrow. Nobody knows that. So there is no
Mm.
expert as such, right? Because you can see experts in cardiovascular, in other fields, right? Like engineering, scientists. But in digital marketing, that's not this, I would say, space because first of all, it's marketing. Nobody knows marketing, to be honest. Everybody is just playing the guessing game. And the second is you cannot control what tech companies do.
So the biggest challenge is you're not aware how the algorithm will change. Can you show some more challenges?
Yeah, the next challenge is to make the client pay on time. That's another challenge in digital because if it was a artwork, like a painting, and your client did not pay up, you could be like, okay, I'm going to take it back. But if you did the work for somebody on digital, you improved their strategy or their business, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to pay you. You cannot take it back. There is a procedure for that. So you cannot call Facebook and say, I got them 10K followers, get rid of those K followers. It doesn't happen. So First of all, because most of marketers, when they start out, they're not really looking at it from a money perspective because they're like, let me give results. But in that, a lot of people forget contracts, a lot of people forget the nuances that they just overlook because they're just starting out. They're just excited to work on the project. But a lot of times that's how they get screwed. So I'd say the second challenge or even the third challenge would be to make the money rotate, change hands constantly. I'm not really worried about because a lot of marketers say you should keep learning technology because you will get outdated. We are using social media almost like what, 5 hours a day on average. So I don't think you're getting outdated anymore. That used to be the case back in 2014, 15, even until, pre-COVID era. But now it's not, that's not the case. I don't think if you live a normal life, you cannot be outdated on trends because it's pretty visible to you.
That is true. So the back office, us, how it all operates behind the curtains, is very essential.
Mhm.
What about the technical stuff, like building funnels, building
Yes.
ad campaign?
Yeah.
That should be the bread and butter.
Not necessary. Because the term funnel is so big, right? Like you just said, building a funnel. Now, the term funnel is so big, it sometimes sounds a scam. That's what digital marketing has come down to. Because marketing is not about bringing sales. That's sales job. People in sales do that. That's why there is a whole department called
Right.
as sales, and there are closers, and there are executives, and all those people, right? Now, when people talk to digital marketers, they seem to be thinking of digital marketers as this genie, right? And sale is done. That doesn't happen.
You just get you the eyeballs.
The marketer's job is to make the salesman's job easy. That's all. Because typically a consumer will ask 5 questions if he wants to buy something medium ticket in, let's say, within $5,000. But if you want to sell anything higher than that, like real estate or motor vehicles, anything, the typical consumer asks you 13 to 14 questions. And if marketing can do their job and resolve those questions before the person comes to you, right? This salesperson's job gets easy and he can convert more. So the marketing job is to not sell the product, but rather to sell the feature. If marketing sold the product, then there would be no sales. You don't need a sales team. But that's not the reality.
The reality, it's just the first stage of the sales process.
Yes, exactly. Like marketing is the first touch point of a consumer. You like iPhone because you like Steve Jobs, or you like Apple. You just the luxury feel that it gives you. That's marketing job. But when you go to a salesperson, he's going to talk to you about megapixels, right? He's going to talk to you about storage. He's going to talk to you about insurance. That's a salesperson's job. But most of people online do this mistake of thinking digital marketers or marketers in general can bring in sales. Yeah, they can bring in sales, but if you have like a shitty product or a shitty sales team, you're not going to convert them.
You mentioned 5 questions for
Hmm.
coaching tickets. What those questions are?
There are 2 to 3 questions that are fixed, right? That is how much, how quick, and how fast, meaning how fast can I see result, right? How quick meaning how quick is going to be this process. It cannot be long, right? And how much, of what's the price. The other 2 questions are really dynamic in terms of what you offer, right? Because there are coaches and businesses who say we'll offer you a refund if you don't like the service. In that particular instance, a lot of people don't ask how much, right?
Yeah.
They rather emphasis on how quick and how fast can I see results. For example, if there is a person who is offering SEO, SEO usually takes 6 to 8 months. And anybody who tells you within 30 days is just like, you know, scamming you. So if you ask from a SEO consumer point of view, if they ask the SEO company, how long, right? If somebody is willing to spend on SEO, they probably understand SEO. So they would rather ask how long than how fast.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So it,
And
yeah. So the three basic questions are same for all the business. That's how much, how quick, how fast. And the next 2 questions would be very different because the nature of business change.
so, from CEO perspective, what attributes determine how long the process will take?
First of all, effort and competition, I would say. effort in terms of money or time and human resource, and then competition. How competitive is that particular field? It might be social media, it might be websites, it might be email marketing, right? SMS marketing. So it all depends on how competitive is it, right? And how much effort it's going to take. Because, for example, right, if a multi-billion dollar corporation like Pepsi, right, if they wanted to launch a new product, it's not hard for them to market because they got the resources. But if we both got together and wanted to come up with a product, it would take literally all of our life savings and literally every resource available to us, even to get it on the ground first. So I would say effort and competition are the two, key things.
How much impact on the process do you think a brand has?
In short term, not much. In long term, I would say probably 40 to 45%.
Do you think it matters only in SEO or other types of marketing as well?
No, if you have a proper branding is nothing but a magic trick, right? Because the whole marketing is just a band. Because marketing's ideology is to convince you of something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's why marketers feel a lot of words like luxury, easy to use, because it's not quantifiable. What really matters is if you have a brand has some goodwill or net worth, let's say, or a mileage in terms of retail talk, it's going to definitely benefit you in long term. In short term, it doesn't too much because it takes a long time to build a brand. But brand
Mm,
is again a very sensitive thing because it can be destroyed rather easy.
that's true. You only have one brand and you can only
Yes.
respect once, and people face as
Mhm.
well. What do you think is the best type of marketing?
I would say slow marketing. I know people will hate me for this, right? Because people want fast results and fast marketing. They're like, let's scale up to 5 million, followers or subscribers in a year. No, that's not realistic, right? Because on average, it takes you 120 videos to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you're doing it organically, right? If you're not using black hat methods, it will take you 100 to 120 videos to reach thousands, subscribers. Now there are people who would say, no, it's definitely wrong because I got 1,000 in like 10 videos. Good for you. But when you really look at it as an average, right? And I feel like businesses should always, in terms of marketing, they should always work thinking about the worst thing that can happen to you. You expect 10 million people to come in, but you're like, the worst case, probably a million will come in. That's okay. So we will operate on that, the lowest standard. Because if you expect the highest standard out of every marketing activity, right? It's like going to gym for a day and expecting to be like Dwayne Johnson. It's not going to happen because you're not putting the work, you do not know the methodology, right? Your processes are not set. It's just like giving a computer to a buffoon, I feel. Always, at least at the starting, you need to expect the minimum from the highest marketing mileage in terms of reach
Mm.
or sales or whatever it is. So you have to expect the minimum, otherwise you're just screwed.
So you think if person wants to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, he should aim for
Mhm.
at least 100 videos or even more than that?
Yes. Because people look at all these big YouTubers and they say, he has 50 million subscribers. Have you looked at his work? Have you seen KSI or Logan Paul, anybody that young people look up to? Have you seen how much effort and how much marketing geniuses these people are? They don't realize that. They feel like, oh, he acts stupid, so he must be, pretty dumb. But he's not, right? So there is a difference between being dumb and acting dumb. And
True.
people don't realize that. And they're like, if he can, get 50 million followers because he's dancing, why can't I? Because you're dumb. Two, because you're not built anything. You're not put out anything,
Mm.
right?
And it
And
takes
each,
time.
exactly, each brand takes time, so much time to build, right? Apple did not become
Mm.
Apple overnight. And
How
that's what happens.
do you have the statistics? And it's a tricky question. How long does it take for average YouTuber to release 100 episodes?
There is no statistic, to be honest, because it totally depends on how much you're working and what's your capability in terms of efficiency. If you have, let's say you have a script writer, you have an editor, you have camera personality, right? So there are 2 to 3 people presenting the YouTube videos. You could probably put 100 videos in probably 50 days. That's not a hard thing to do. Because
Oh,
it's even if you consider 10 minutes per video, every day your camera personality has to work for, I would say, 30 minutes. You get 10 minutes each content out of it. So that's 20 minutes per day. In 50 days, you could put 100. That's not even an ask, right?
so you think in those 50 days, a person can get 1,000 subscribers?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because I don't want to, set up people's expectation, but I would say 100 to 120 is where you're looking at good numbers, very near to 1K. So you'd probably have 800, 900 subscribers or even 1,000, or you could surpass that. But it also depends on what you're presenting, how you're presenting, and storytelling, right? But an average statistic is 100 to 120 videos.
And I suppose that includes all those unicorns that have been somehow lucky or made new accounts with years and years of experience, and they just
Yes.
capitalized on it.
Yeah. But it's also like this, Andre. Let's say two videos are viral of yours. You climb up to
Yeah.
5 million followers or subscribers. What does your journey look like after that? Because you cannot sustain growth of 5 million over 2 to 3 week period. That's not sustainable. Then again, when your number
Mhm.
comes down, people try to capitalize it because they want to push the average float of followers very high. So they're like, okay, if I was gaining 100 followers a week before this big bubble happened, let me push it up to 200 or 230 or 250 subscribers a week. And
Mm.
that's how people work out. They're not saying, nobody is saying I can gain 1 million followers every week forever, because there are not enough users interested in your content. That's the reality.
So if a person has a viral video, how should he cope with that?
A lot of people cannot. That's yeah. It totally depends on how open you are, right? Because once you get a viral video, there are probably podcasters, right? There are probably YouTubers, there are probably journalists who are trying to get in touch with you. Now it's your time to capitalize it. But if you elongate the process of capitalization, it's not going to work out. Because you do understand that there is a term called as news cycle, right? Have you heard of news
Mhm.
cycle? Typical news cycle lasts around 6 to 7 hours, right? So it's like there are two prime times in news channels, one in the morning, one in the evening, right? When they get the prime news. So if a news made it to the Monday morning, how
Mm.
long does that news last? It lasts until the next news cycle. But if the news is really big, it would last the 8 to 10 news cycle. For example, Johnny Depp's case, it lasted more than 25 news cycles, right? It was still trending at the end of the day, even when the case was said and done. The question is,
Mm.
can your brand sustain that kind of news cycle? No. If you look at an Instagram or Facebook cycles, it's probably 5 to 6 hours,
Mm.
because algorithm tests your content for, let's say, 2 to 3 to 4 hours to push it. That's why you get the bulk of the viewers at the very start. And then it's just scalable in terms of it just scales very linear. It's not like exponential. So then it also depends on, if you got viral on a Sunday night, how much content or how much word can you get out by Monday night? It's 24 hours. News, podcast, YouTube videos, your own videos, reels, stories, comments. So there is a whole planned thing going on. And of course, there are some memes or some things that can that have the longevity, right? Like where they're like sustaining for 15, 20 days, a month, even a year. And
Mm.
that's if you're lucky. And if you're lucky, then bless you. You could probably do 100 podcasts in a month. Or even if you target to appear on one top 10 podcast in the world, you are set, right? You got the most amount of eyeballs. If you did any collaboration in the similar space, because of course people are going to approach you, right? Because you are sellable and people understood that, right? And there
You
are people who
mentioned
claim, yeah, sorry.
you mentioned something about black hat strategies. What is that?
Black hat strategy is like saying, I don't care about the system, so I'm going to game the system. So
Mhm.
you're talking about bot followers, bot comments, bot engagement, and it's just like stuffing up the numbers, the statistics to be in your favor. So algorithm looks at you very kindly. So
So
that's a
the only benefit is that algorithm that can change any day and any time looks at you kindly in this given moment.
yes, exactly. For a certain period of time, it will favor you. But now you are seeing on Google, because Google is losing the search engine race to AI, right? So they are like,
Mm.
okay, what do we do? Let's get rid of BS, right? How do we do that? Let's delist all of those people who have got their backlinks from a black hat source. So now you a lot of if you go on to Reddit and everywhere, people are complaining, my site lost 2.8 million viewers in a day. Of course, because you made it to that point using black hat. So Google was like, okay, we are not going to promote you anymore because you're not giving any value to my customer. So black hat can be
So
good, but it is very dangerous.
it seems it's good only for a short time, and then it could have significant consequences.
Yes, significant consequences even up to the ban of your account or your username being banned. There are a lot of things that, of course, any platform can do, right? Because it's their platform.
So truth is play the game and then have faith that one day you will win. Output. Yeah.
So play the long game, be a bit patient, don't look at others, don't compare yourself to others. It's like real life, right? If you compare to others, you'll always
Mm.
feel shitty.
Yeah.
For example, you
Of
have
course.
very good straight hair. I have a curly hair. And if I thought, oh my God, I need hair like Andre, I'm screwed. I can never be happy. And that's what happens with most of the brands. They're like, look at my competitor. He is growing so much. Okay, so what? Everybody has finite
Yeah.
amount of resources, right? So if a company is advertising everywhere, okay, then just wait because anyways you cannot compete with them with money because if you could, you would not be complaining. You'd be playing their game.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's wait because they have limited resources. Let's see how much money can they blow up because they even if they're pushing their own brand, they are passively pushing the whole industry. Let me give you an example, right? Let's say there is a toy or an earphone. One
Mhm.
particular company is pushing wireless noise cancellation headphones, right? Okay, I agree that they're pushing their brand, but they're also pushing the whole headphone industry together, right? Where even
Yeah.
if you put less amount, you can have good impact because someone else is working hard for it,
And still
if
have
that makes
success.
sense. Yes, and
Yeah,
still
it makes
have
perfect
a
sense.
huge load of success
You
because
can
they are
capitalize on
spending
their
more money.
success
Yes, exactly.
uh, as a marketing strategy.
Yeah. So there is a study that says that in 2026, meme engineering will be the highest paid field in digital marketing, controlled.
Yeah.
And I feel made up memes won't run anymore. It used to even until today it runs, right? Even right now, there are companies like Ryanair and other companies who do major meme marketing, but that people are starting to realize that's not really natural. That's something that's synthetic that's been manufactured. So I feel like meme is very good thing if it can happen naturally. If you upload a video where there was a mistake and that mistake becomes a meme, okay, that's natural, right? Even though you intentionally put that particular mistake, hoping to become viral or meme worthy, right? So what the result is still it is natural. But when you try to do the same mistake again and again over 2 to 3 videos, that starts to become synthetic.
Yeah. It seems marketing is always about finding the new thing because once people understand that they are being marketed to, they hate it and they become resistant to it.
Yes. So even until 2021, 2022, right? Most of the, I would say, testimonials or user generated content was very polished, right? You used to
Yeah.
have a testimonial sitting in a studio, in a very professional
Yeah.
setting. Now you see girls or boys talking, laying on their bed saying this product is amazing because everybody got tired of polished marketing. So they're like, okay, but what's real?
Yeah.
right? And now more people are becoming addicted to that kind of organic made up content. Now, if anybody, even in 2025, will push for polished testimonials, it's going to work again because people are tired of looking people laying on their bed and talking about a product.
What about no marketing as marketing?
Yes, that's even better. But that works only when you have backing in terms of financial or time or resources to sustain your business practices, because there are a lot of Japanese and a lot of Asian companies that do that. As you said, they intentionally do not market their products. They're like, if you want it, you will get it, but we are not selling it to you. Understand that the growth trajectory is going to be very flat. It's not going to be
Yeah.
exponential where you're like, boom, in a year, you're like 5 million ARR. No, that doesn't work. But yeah, no marketing is a good strategy for those people who are looking to build such a multi-generational businesses.
So you start slow and you
Yeah.
build it brick by brick.
Mhm. But
Do
you
you
will have to do
think that's
some sort of marketing.
no? And do you think that's the best strategy you can use?
There are Japanese businesses and Chinese businesses that have sustained over 800 years, right? 850 years, 1,000 years. So I would say that seems to be working. But this whole concept of startups and VCs funding startups has
Yeah.
definitely spoiled the market, right? Because look at Uber. When was it profitable? Like people don't ask these questions, right? GPT, right, grew 280 times faster than Google grew. Is it profitable? No. It's like
No.
there is a whole difference between running a business and running a brand, it seems, because brands are really not worried about numbers. They just want reach.
Yeah. And that not necessarily means money.
Yeah, of course, because you cannot burn other people's money for a longer period of time before the person who gave you money starts getting angry.
Yeah. And what you said about those Chinese businesses that they're working and operating for more than 800 years, it's very intriguing. I think
Mm.
people have completely different perspective on life. Do you know if they are like held in the families or did the owner hand changed?
No, the owners have been the same family.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So maybe the network is so big at that stage that you can operate only on referrals.
Yeah, but it's also, there used to be a time when people used to look at annual balance sheet, right? Whether to see
Mm.
company was profitable or not. Now, the problem is in today's world, we look at monthly revenue, quarterly revenue, right? It's good for a small business, but it's not so good for a business that wants to grow in a long time. Because of course, you're going to have bad period of times, right?
Like
For
there's different
example,
seasons.
yes, but also see in COVID, right? UFC did not fire their employees,
Mm.
right? They did not lay them off. So when good times comes, those people will be willing to work because they understand that when everybody around them was getting fired or laid off, they were not, right? But then you had
But
these bad companies, very bad companies, right? Who were still profitable but were still laying people off, right? So now that the economy is recovered or recovering, do you think people trust those companies to be a good employer? I don't think so. They would definitely
I
doubt.
think the perspective is changing very fastly that corporation itself are a bad employer because it's always about their returns and the human has no
Yes,
place.
but for the general public, there is no other means of working, right? That's how the system
Yeah.
is built, as to say.
Yeah.
You could try to step out of it when you're working with a smaller business. The structure
True.
is still the Henry Ford structure, right?
Yeah. I recently had a term soul marketing, which is in opposed to ego marketing. And the idea is that most marketing is ego driven of people wanting, craving like their coping mechanism so they cannot feel pain. And I don't know, have you ever had this term? And what is your take on this? Should you market using your soul or should you use your ego to market?
I would say it doesn't matter because you can market the hell out of a product, but if its product doesn't deliver, your marketing doesn't work. So, all these
Mm,
terms of not only soul and ego marketing, there is like thirst trap marketing, right? When I don't want to say it out loud, there are thirst trap marketing techniques that people do. There is deliberate marketing that do when people piss you off for a reason, right? Because most employees are told that you cannot afford our brand. You could
yeah,
call it as ego marketing, but if it works, you know. So any marketing is good marketing, is what I feel like. Because at the end of the day, people are conscious beings.
true.
Now, there are many fashion brands which use child labor, but still people consume those products. Now, a small clothing brand can say, we don't use child labor, but if your product is shit, nobody's going to buy it. Even though you have good intentions. I'm not saying your intentions are bad, but your product doesn't deliver it, right? Now, there are feel marketing, right? Feel like luxury and like terms that are not quantifiable. So when you
Mhm.
put terms like that which are hard to quantify, people do not have the mental ability to calculate it. So that's why you see
There's,
people use the word unlimited a lot, right? Unlimited time, unlimited. Yeah, but so what, right? If YouTube said you can watch unlimited videos on our subscription, that's okay. But I only use YouTube for 20 minutes a day. So that it's not unlimited because my time is limited.
yeah.
You can do
So
that
it's
kind of
selling
marketing.
emotions.
Yes. And you are betting people to be dumb. Yeah.
And I think it brings money.
Yes, it brings money. But there are companies who do proper marketing in raw marketing. That works also. There are people who just say, yeah, my product is shit. It's not complete product. I think it's good. And people buy that.
So it seems that actually the best marketing is the product itself. If the product is good, it would sell regardless of marketing.
Yes. Yeah. But even if your product is bad, you can market it for a very short time until it's launched or until it's in public hands. But once it's out there, it's out there. You cannot correct those mistakes from marketing.
And what's in the internet stays in the internet.
Yep. Yes. I agree on that. That's why a lot of e-commerce companies fail, right? Because
Mm,
they are like, we are the next Amazon. I'm like, no, you're not, right? Amazon has been around since 1998. It has
yeah.
seen two economic meltdown. It survived a dot-com bubble. What has your business survived? Probably 10 bad reviews. You're like 100 bad reviews away from shutting down your business. You cannot say I'm the next Amazon, right? Because Amazon
So it's a
operated in a
simple
very
boasting.
different time frame.
Unfortunately, our time is running low. Could you tell people where
Mm.
they can find you?
Yeah, I'm easy to find. My podcast is called a Sapient Podcast, or you can search for my name. That is Ganesh Datta, GANESHDAT on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, wherever you get your dopamine from. Yeah, I am easily contactable. So if you like to talk to me or criticize me on my opinion, yeah, just get in touch. Or if you want to hate me more, just listen to my podcast. You'll definitely hate me more.
It was definitely valuable. I learned a lot. Thank you so much for being a guest. And thank you all for listening
Thank
and
you.
stay tuned for the next episode. Yeah, I really did